Hello, fellow immigrants. Thank you for choosing the unknown. The unknown is the new country. You packed your belongings in one suitcase to come to a country to start all over again. I know it's hard, but being in this community will be a stepping stone to help you to grow and thrive as an immigrant. So join the conversation. Let us know your thoughts, your concerns, so that together we can grow and make a significant impact in the world. Thank you so much, Esther Hepzibah, for joining Immigrants Making an Impact, the podcast. We are so glad you came. Could you tell us a bit about yourself?
So thank you, first of all, for this opportunity to connect. I think it's really powerful to see that across the world, not just in a particular location, there are people that are making an impact as immigrants. So I really appreciate, this opportunity to connect and to share. So my name is Esther Hepzibah, and I am a life and leadership transformation coach, speaker, and facilitator. Now, I'll share more about what this is all about for those of you who are wondering, what is all of these titles about? At its core, I'm someone that is very passionate about helping and empowering people to break free from limitations, especially women. And I really love helping women find their purpose. Like, how do you live a life that's in alignment with what you were created to be or why you were created? Now, I started my business, Shine Transformation Consulting, 3 years ago. But quick background, I moved from Nigeria, where I'm culturally from, in West Africa, to Canada 2015, halfway across the world, to study an MBA. And the reason for this, I really was looking for a life that was more meaningful. I'd worked in the corporate world in a Fortune 500 company for about 10 years, and I felt I'd kind of hit a ceiling where my potential wasn't being tapped into. I also lost my only brother, so that was kind of, sad story. I had to leave my country because, I lost my brother in a very unfortunate incident, and those memories were not helpful for my family. So my family moved to the US. I decided to move here and to Canada. And so fast forward, finished my MBA, and I just discovered that I couldn't find Esther in Canada. I felt lost. I felt there was a sense of not understanding or knowing who I was. I felt I was settling. I felt imposter syndrome. I felt I was self-sabotaging. I felt all the felt. So if you're an immigrant, I'm sure you can relate. Like, I just felt like I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Like, where do I even start? Where's my path to success? And I felt so lonely. Like, there's so many times I would cry. I have 2 kids. They're now teenagers. But at the time, I would sit with them and just cry because I don't know, like, why did I even come here? What kind of decision? And I felt like I left the known for the unknown. So all of these challenges really was what drove me into, I need to find the best version of Esther in Canada. Like, who is Esther in Canada? I knew I had experience, I knew that I had value, but for some reason I lost a sense of that. And so that drove me into discovering who I was. And that self-discovery journey led me to the Maxwell Leadership Team, and that's where I became certified as a coach. But I started really with self-awareness and what I call social awareness. Self-awareness was really understanding, in Canada right now, who am I? What value do I bring to the table? What are my core values? What's important to me? What career path would best suit my strengths, right? So that really unlocked a lot of awareness about who Esther is. And that was the beginning of my journey in 2016. And that moved me into social awareness because you need to first understand yourself before you can understand others. And so I looked through the lens of self-awareness and social awareness. And that was how I began to activate untapped potential. Then I started to help people as well because I found, wait a second, I don't have to figure this out by myself. So I had a strong community of mentors, of coaches, but also helping to help immigrants that were coming in and felt the same way that, I did. So I helped them to fast track their success through this model of self-awareness and social awareness. And 2020, fast forward, I decided to start my own business, left the corporate world finally. And Shine Transformation has been helping immigrant women in Canada to find their own path to success.
Wonderful. That was a great intro, but my heartfelt condolences to you on the loss of your brother. Thank you also for the work that you do. I mean that you are really bringing meaning to so many people. But talking about being a transformational coach, what limitations do women bear that brings them to you?
That's an excellent question.
Thank you.
So limitations, first of all, is doubting who they are, right? Now, this is amplified because now you're in a new country. You have to, if you have children, you have to manage children, you have to manage family, if you have a spouse. There's so many other priorities you have to juggle, which looks different from your home country. And so I look at limitations through the lens of internal and external. Okay, so let me start with the internal. So internal, again, is just kind of that doubting yourself. How would I raise these children? How do I take care of my family? How do I provide for my family? How do I show up at the table confident, right? How do I find a career path that really speaks to who I am? And so there's that internal talking and limitations that tend to hold women back, because you're talking yourself out. And then also there's comparison trap. So you're coming into a new country, you're looking at someone that's been here like for 7-10 years, and there's that tendency to begin to compare yourself. That's a trap. And so there's that limitation of self-doubt, of self-limitation, of imposter syndrome, of trying to navigate family life in a new country, cultural barriers, accents, right? For me, that was one of it, was my accent. Like, people didn't understand. And so I struggled with, oh, do I have to change my accent, or do I have to keep, shrinking so that I can fit? So those are internal talks that we deal with. Now, another thing that I find most women, or I would say a large percentage of women that come to me deal with is abusive relationships from their home country. Okay, so now I know this is kind of a cultural or maybe more sensitive topic, but the truth is more than 9% of women that come to me are experiencing relationship issues because they come into a new country and there's a sense of more freedom and flexibility, which could be, interpreted in different ways, but they find that I don't have to condone or settle for the cultural dysfunction or societal dysfunction and unhealthy pressure that I'm bringing from my country here. Like, if I've settled for so long where I've had to absorb things that have affected me emotionally or mentally, here there are ways and pathways where I can experience freedom. So those are internal limitations that immigrant women are dealing with and are looking for women that can connect with them because they can't share it with everybody. Now, on the external part, there's the systemic barriers, right? So you're a Black woman in a different country, you're trying to build your own business, or you are, you came in from your own country as a manager or a leadership position. Coming in here is a different ballgame. So there's the systemic barrier that, first of all, they don't recognize your credential, they don't recognize who you are and all of the value you bring to the table. And so you have to begin to navigate and juggle that. That begins to eat into your sense of identity and value. Like, okay, so who I was here is not the same here. How do I translate that value? So when I look at those barriers, those are the barriers that women come with, is the internal barriers and the external barriers, and trying to juggle, how to flip that into good opportunities.
Wow. So then how do you set out to help them?
Well, so, helping them, I feel, has been through my own experience and mistakes and falling down and getting back up. 2016, when I got certified with the Maxwell Leadership Team, I came up with a program called Living an Intentional Life. So I put this together for women. I wasn't specific on immigrants or non-immigrants, but I found that a lot of the women that signed up for immigrants women, it was 6 women, and the feedback was powerful. Like, it was eye-opening for them, just like it was for me. It was awakening for them. And so that was how I came up with my signature program, which is now called the Growth Accelerator. And I run this 4 times a year. It's a cohort of 10 women maximum, but we go on a 5-week journey bi-weekly, so about 10 weeks. and really helping to understand. We go to the root cause of the limitations you're experiencing and how to flip that into opportunities, or what I call how to flip that from being a trap to being a trampoline that bounces you to the next level. So I help them through the Growth Accelerator. I also do a lot of retreats, again, because I work with women that have been in dysfunctional relationships. They need a lot of breathing space. Okay, and that was my story as well, to be very open and honest. And so I was always looking for places to breathe. Like, I just need to breathe. I just need to reset my mind. And so in the past couple of years, I've created retreat experiences for women. It's called Sacred Retreat Experiences, where I have this, intimate group of women. We go away for the weekend and really help them to unpack their burdens, their pain, things that, as women, we mask and we wear clothes on, but inside, we know we're wounded and we need help, right? But we're needing a safe space. So ultimately, what I create for women is safe spaces to unpack, to unload, and to find lasting solutions, and to build momentum, and to help them know it's a journey. Give yourself grace, but I still challenge them in a way that helps them to live their best life.
Excellent. I think that many people need your services, and thank you for the impact that you are making. I think that many people in our community need people like you to help them confirm their identity and move on, and also make a significant impact. Again, so let me take you back into a bit of reflection.
Okay.
When you arrived, first, your family went to the US and you chose to come to Canada by yourself. And then when you came, you faced a lot of maybe setbacks. You realized that why am I here? How was it like? What challenges did you face? And how were you able to know, okay, this is not where I need to be. I need to move on to another place?
So let me start with my career path. So after an MBA, investing over $40,000 Canadian dollars in an MBA degree, my expectation was to get an opportunity that aligns with the value of my investments, right? But that didn't translate right away. I had to do menial jobs like cleaning, like home care, which in itself, there's nothing wrong with it. However, when you begin to stay there for a while and you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, you begin to question, okay, how does this translate? An MBA degree translates into this.
And that was in Canada?
Yes. So my family moving to the US is another, it's my sisters and my parents are citizens in the US, and I had issues getting a visa to the US anyway. So to be honest, I don't think I really wanted to go to the US because I was kind of mad, like, why did you give me a visa? So I loved Canada, even though it was different. Now, again, looking at self-awareness, understanding my personality, I'm very spontaneous and adventurous. So I was okay with being by myself. My family would come help me to settle in, because they're used to the North American kind of life. But one of the struggles that I struggle with, apart from the career, not finding a job that really aligned with my investments in an MBA, was also culture shock, right? So there's a lot of do-it-yourself in this part of the world. In my country, is done for you, right? I call it DFU. Here is DIY. So done for you means you go to the car wash, they wash your car, madam, we help you wash your car, we pay, they do things for you there. So coming here, I didn't have an insight. So I jumped in, and one of the instances that I always tell when I speak to newcomers, and they're always laughing, but it wasn't funny at the time, was going to a car wash, and I had an MBA class. I was late and I had 2 kids, to settle into their evening, get them back from school. Anyway, that evening I needed to wash my car. It was really awful. It was dirty. And I went to this car wash store and I parked there thinking that they were going to wash my car for me. And I stayed there for like 30 minutes. It was almost, I think it was 20 minutes to my class. I was like, oh my goodness, nobody has come to attend to me. And then I walked out of my store, walked to a different store, saw this guy washing his car, and I said, hi, I've been waiting for you. And he goes, for what? I'm like, to wash my car. He goes, sorry? Like, I've been waiting for you. Don't you work for the car wash company? And he goes, no, nobody works for the car wash company. I'm like, so who washes the car? Like, you. I'm like, no, I can't wash the car. Anyway, that was I had to drive off that day, but there was a lot of culture shock as to, and then the cold as well, the winter, was really, the first few years was really intense. So imagine juggling all of this with internal barriers that you're trying to walk through. It was quite a lot of pressure on my emotional and mental health. Mm-hmm. So in saying that, I have really learned the value of taking time to understand what you're getting into, and also finding a strong support system. I call it the 3S or S3, strong support system. Who are those that have been where you want to go, that can support you, who can relate to your pain points, right? Who can help you see that you're not alone? Because half of the problem is solved when I get women together and I hear and I say things like, I share my story, they go, oh, I thought I was all by myself, right? That brings peace and reassurance that, okay, I'm going to get you this. So I think those are the ways I was able to navigate the internal and external barriers and just being by myself without family.
These are great nuggets. So the 3S, and that is a strong support system. I think I've talked with many immigrants and established immigrants, newcomers, and the underlying thing that they talk about is make as many friends as possible, so that you have people around who can help you. And most importantly, you really need to ask for help. So thank you for affirming that. Let's talk about your own business. So as an entrepreneur, you have started your business in a new country. It seems that everything went smoothly as you speak, but I bet there were challenges along the way. So tell us a bit more about setting up a business as an immigrant in a new country.
That's $1 million question. Oh my goodness. Setting up a business in a new country is like trying to find an analogy that would be well descriptive of the ups and downs. It's like trying to put like trying to put your phone into the eye of a needle.
Okay, that is okay. Next level. How would you be able to achieve that then?
I know that's almost impossible. So honestly, what I think has grounded me in building my business was the experience I had before that, which is really getting to understand who Esther is. Because being anchored in your identity and purpose really is a strong foundational pillar for building your business in any environment. Because the storms would come, especially when you're in a culture and a country that's different from you. It is amplified. The challenge is amplified because of funding. I had to, I got some support through the government, but it's when I look at the amount of my own investment, my time, my energy, my personal investments and savings, it was a huge risk. It was like jumping off the cliff and building my wings on the way down. So I'm 3 years in now. I would say the first year was, what I did was to focus on the low-hanging fruit. And what that means is looking for people in my inner circle or my family and friends network that I could coach and could give testimonials, because I needed proof of concept, right? Especially in a different country. Like, first of all, my accent was a potential barrier. And I make fun of my accent now. Then I will speak so fast and then they go, what did you say? And then at some point, I'm like, I don't even know what to say anymore. Or imagine you trying to, you need to have, you put an event together and you're kind of partnering with a non-immigrant. And then they kind of see your picture in the flyer, a Black woman. And then she goes, oh, I think registration might be low, so we might have to take off your picture. What does that mean? Well, they're not used to. So those were the initial barriers I had to go through. So I had to start with a low-hanging fruit. Who are those in my inner circle I can coach? So my first year was really finding women like me.
Mhm.
like women from Jamaica, women of color, women from African descent, from the Caribbean. Those were my first fruits, I'll call it. They were my first fruits because, I coached them, they found value, they found, one of the ladies I coached that first year said, you just changed my life forever. Like, I never imagined I could go past this barrier as an immigrant. So I had to leverage on the low-hanging fruits, but the first step was my identity, being anchored in who I am, because like I said, the instance I just shared, imagine you having to go for an event, and because you look different, then your picture has to be taken off, because then people might not register. If I wasn't anchored in my identity, it's easy to step back into comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So my identity, then low-hanging for really that first year was, who can I serve, or who can I coach at a very minimal value, or at a minimal price, or even for free, in exchange for a testimonial that would prove that I can add value to others and I can become a trusted advisor and partner.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my journey of really building the business from the scratch. But funding was tough. Like I said, I had to use a lot of my personal funding. It's getting better, but I still have to, I have to fund, like personal development is a big deal for me. Like coaching, I have a lot of coaches in different areas of my life. So investing in coaching is a huge capital investment that I have to take on myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of getting year 3 now, trying to get into more funding opportunities now that I have a solid proof of the value that I bring to the table.
Well done. I think that's only the beginning. Looking at your expertise and how you approach your work, even speaking to you, I think that you go very, very far and continue to impact the world. And moving on, can you share a pivotal moment or decision that significantly impacted your success as an immigrant?
I think one of my pivotal moments, or I think the most right now, will be one I had earlier this year when I got awarded the most transformational business in Toronto by the Canadian Women Entrepreneurs. And I didn't see that coming, because when I submitted the application for that pitch, I was actually in the hospital. I had some health challenges at that time. And so I didn't put not excellent. I didn't put, it wasn't perfect from my perspective. I just shared from my heart, which interestingly was the message of that pitch. It wasn't about being perfect. It was about what is your heart to serve women or to serve your clients. So even though I was going through a very tough and turbulent time, I think that was also a testament that no matter where you are at in life, as long as you have a heart that is ready to serve people, that is ready to add value and value people, you would always win. So I submitted the application, over 1,000 women, and then I got this most transformational business award. I'm like, wait, what? And then I asked, why did you? She said, we looked at the testimonials of the women that you serve. It is mind-blowing. It is groundbreaking. Like, oh my goodness, this is lasting impact. So that was a pivotal moment for me, because it really reassured me that, yes, you've been through the ups and the downs, and it's just like it's an uphill climb constantly. You're trying to catch your breath most times, but you're adding lasting value to human beings. And so that was very humbling for me. I was grateful that my work was recognized in the Canadian Women Entrepreneurs platform. And yeah, that just reminds me that being an immigrant, there's nothing, the sky is the starting point. There are no limits at all, except the limit that we put on ourselves. And this is exactly what I'm trying to help women break free from. Like, those limits we put on ourselves can be flipped around, and we don't have to let it stop us to make a lasting impact in the world.
Congratulations on that. Well done.
Thank you.
And also, thinking about representation, I think that you exemplify immigrants starting and building from the scratch, and then doing an excellent job and ultimately succeeding. It is possible through what you have done. It makes us aware that we can also do it. So well done. Do you have any advice for immigrants in general, and also immigrant entrepreneurs, people who have come to a new country and want to start their own business?
So like I said before, we need to, it's just like building a house, right? You're building your business in a new country. You're trying to find your career path. You're trying to, start your life again in a new country. Just like building a house, you need to understand what are the foundational pillars, because storms will come, wind will blow. What keeps you anchored through that hard times or storms is being anchored in something that's unchanging. And for me, it has always been my core values, and one of them is my faith. So my faith is my identity, is who I am. And that has been my fuel through life's challenges. That's the only thing I can say without a doubt that's kept me anchored. So speaking to, advising me, I always say, what are your core values? And that's an exercise I take every woman that comes into my circle. Even with newcomer students, I had a core values exercise last week with one of the universities in Toronto. I had this newcomer exercise workshop, and I took them through the core values, and it was mind-blowing and eye-opening for them. They reached out on LinkedIn to say, oh my goodness, I enjoyed that. Because sometimes we've not taken time to understand what is important to me and why is it important to me. So for example, my core values is what I call the 5 Fs, right? Which is my faith, my family and friends, my fitness, an area that I'm trying to get better at. My fitness and wellness, which is my physical health, my mental health, my emotional health, my finances, which again is, my business, and then having fun. Just enjoying life. Yeah, just enjoying life's moments, breathing, with my kids sometimes we do some silly things sometimes, but it's okay. But just on go mode, and you just get into serious, you don't even get to enjoy those life sacred moments. So having your core value, that keeps me anchored every day. So like this morning, I quickly, before I jumped on this call, I've had some physical fitness, I've had my time with God, but that's what keeps me grounded in the day. So my advice is, first of all, find yourself, understand your unique identity. That is the cornerstone of unlocking lasting success in a new country. Who are you? Who are you? Why were you created? Right? What is important to you? Then you build a business and a life around that.
That is so sweet. Thank you for sharing. And please, may we adopt your 5 Fs, our community, and use it?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's so kind.
Welcome to use that. As long as you give credit that, learn this from Esther Hepzibah. I run with it, build your own core values empire. That keeps you going. It also helps you make decisions. I don't say yes to everything. People say, oh, come on this podcast, come for this work. This is my decision-making filter. Right. And that's why before we jumped on, I said I need to do an audit, because I think I've been taking on a lot and I need to stop.
Of course.
To pause, to say, okay, wait a second. How is this aligned with my values in this season? Right? So that with grace and with understanding, I can say, you know what, this sounds like a great idea, but I'm unable to say yes to it right now.
That's okay. It's okay to say no sometimes, based on your core values and your identity.
Correct.
So let's talk about your work. We want to support you. Is there anything, project that you are doing that you want our community to come and support you with?
So there are a couple of things that I'm working on right now. I do a visioning workshop every December for the past 4 years. And one of the things I've found that it helps women with is the ability to unplug, because it's a 3-hour session and it's available virtually and in person. But it really helps you to reflect on 2023, or on that current year. As women, like I said, we tend to just go, then we just maybe take a short video, we jump into a new year, then we're looking for the next big thing. Whereas if you took the time to be with yourself and just ask yourself some thought-provoking, soul-stirring questions, you find things that you want to discontinue or do more of in the new year. And so the visioning workshop is one of my signature programs that I always invite women to reflect. And the 3 magic questions, which I don't mind sharing here, but if you want, we're going to unpack this question in different ways because we're all wired differently, but every personality is able to grasp really reflecting before you move into 2023. It's kind of your mini retreat.
Mm-hmm.
So the 3 questions I typically ask, as part of just a sneak peek into this experience, and anyone listening, I would love to, even if you can attend, there's an opportunity to get access to the replay for a limited time for also a fraction of the value that you'll be getting. The 3 questions are what worked for me in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And we look through different areas of life. So like I use the 5F model. I also use a different model, a framework, in my workshop. Well, what worked in this area of life? What did not work? And what are you going to do differently in the new year? So we do a lot of solo reflection. We do partner work as well. It's highly interactive. But you see, women get to learn and share, and we grow together. And you get to understand how to make this holiday season an amazing time with yourself and your family. Not just the go, trying to do everything and you get so worn out and then you jump into the new year and then you start all over again on this treadmill that never stops. Right? So the visioning workshop is something that I highly recommend for especially immigrant women to really take the time to pause, to breathe, to reflect. I give you a couple of tools, and also one of the things I'm helping women this year is how do you replicate my model? It's proprietary, but I also give you a part where you can go run with it in your own circle, maybe in your family. You run a mini visioning workshop with your family. That's a great, a great asset. So that's one project that I'm working on, and I can share the link if you want to find out how to. Actually, if you go to shinewithesther.com, you'll be able to access that. Another project that I just finished is a mini, like an ebook on setting boundaries, healthy boundaries for women. I find that as immigrant women, we're not able to say no to family members or to people that are close to that we love. And how do you love others without losing the best of who you are? Is setting healthy boundaries. So I have this ebook I created. It's also on shinewithesther.com. It's a book that helps you with practical conversation starters on how to say no without feeling guilty. So those are the 2, I would say, project that I currently would, appreciate if you could spread the word. There are women that need these solutions, but they just need someone to raise their awareness or to shine a light on. This is where you can find solutions that will help you.
Of course, I think that we will share all the important links in the show notes. So please watch out for it and connect with Esther. I think we all need to join this program so that we can shine in the coming year. Esther, I have a few questions for you. What would you do if you knew you would not fail?
That's a great question. If I knew I wouldn't fail.
That's the pause.
Yeah, I need to dig deep for that one, because that's a question that I was asked actually recently at a conference. So, and I think my response will be different now because I've had some lessons learned. What would I do if I knew I wouldn't fail? I would. I think I would amplify my voice more on empowering women that are stuck in dysfunctional and abusive relationships. I think I would create a foundation to help women find that safe space. So safe space is one of my proprietary framework as well. I call them strong and safe spaces. I think I will launch that in every nation. Launching a foundation that helps women with safe spaces to make what has been termed abnormal, normal, and to help them normalize mental health as well.
Wow, I think that you have to go ahead and do it because you are not going to fail. And most importantly, we can all collaborate with you. With our listeners, there are a lot of people who are also passionate about this project that you have on your heart, helping women find a safe space, because many women are trapped in so many abusive relationships. So we can do it together. Let's go ahead and do it. Finally, please complete the sentence for us. Immigrants are change makers. Immigrants are decision makers. They're catalysts for lasting change. Immigrants are powerful.
in the fabric of the society because they bring such a unique and rich flavor of inclusion and diversity. Immigrants they are what the society needs to make the world go around. Immigrants are powerful and they contribute in a way to the economy that without them, I feel like the economy is going to be settling for less of their potential. So immigrants are vital, they're crucial contributors to the world's economy.
Wow, we couldn't have ended this session in a better way. Thank you so much, Esther Hepzibah, for coming.